Hello beautiful and welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where I am going to let you know of my top favorite things from Colourpop and the things that I think that you might not need. The things that I think that you can just leave in the store. Hopefully this will be a little bit helpful for you because they are doing a Cyber Monday, Black Friday kind of an event right now. I'm going to put the details about that down in the description box. This video is not sponsored though. I just thought that this would be a good time to do a video like this. I was actually planning to do it later on in December, but I thought this would be a good time. And if you haven't been here before, if this is your first video here, hello, my name is Angie. I am such a lover of beauty makeup, and I really do love Colourpop, although I don't love everything from them. I'm actually wearing Colourpop today as well, and if you want to see some more videos on my timeline, more specifically, if you want to see videos every day until Christmas, this is the place to be. Don't forget to subscribe. I feel like that intro was all over the place, but yeah, I did film this look and I will actually be talking about this palette in a little bit. This look is already live on my channel and I will link that down below the video where you can find this look together with all the things that I have on my face in case you are interested. So here's the thing, I am on Colourpop's PR list, but I haven't always been on Colourpop's PR list. I've been on and off Colourpop's PR list. Right now I am receiving everything from Colourpop, but there have been several like longer periods of time where I've not been on the PR list, and there's also been longer periods of time where I've just received sporadically some things here and there. But I have tried quite a few things from Colourpop. And like I said, right now they're doing a sale event, but normally if you're seeing this video after the sale event, just for future reference, I do have a code with Colourpop and my code is Angelica. I don't think you can use it during the sale event though. I think they have like 30% off everything. So yeah, check the description box for more info. So I think I don't know, how many items are there? I think there are like between, I think it's 11. Is it? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But the things that I'm going to be talking about are going to be like the best things and the worst things, according to me, my preference. And I will not be mentioning, I brought this out just because like this is one of my favorite items ever from Colourpop, but it's not available as a single anymore. And this is the Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in Pants. I have two. I use this all the time. It's been my favorite for what, like 5-6 years. I think it's amazing. It is only available in a big set. So I'm not going to be mentioning this as, now I am, but like this is not an official favorite because you cannot buy it as a single. I'm not going to go out and tell you to buy like one of those big humongous, like I don't know how many there are in the set just to be able to get my favorite. So if they ever bring that back as a single, I cannot recommend Pants enough, but this is going to be about products that I currently see on the website. Okay, so let's start with my favorites. Let's start with what I have on my lips right now. I think that they released these glowing lips this year, and I have the one from the Muppets collection. This one is in Warm Up Guy. I have no idea. I still have not seen the Muppets thing, but this is what I have on my lips right now. I really like these glowing lips. I think that this is an affordable version of a lot of those high-end, super glowy, kind of like, it is a semi-opaque formula that you can build up to opaque if you just go a couple of rounds. And it is very comfortable on the lips. It looks beautiful on the lips, and I just think that this is a nice and affordable way of trying that super glossy lip. So I 100% recommend this. It smells a little bit like, almost like Play-Doh, not like sweet, but still a little bit like clay, almost like a little artificial sweet. So it's not the best scent they ever made, but I really like how these look and how these wear, and I have a bunch of different colors, and honestly, all the colors that I've tried have been really nice. Speaking of lip products that I do not recommend, I would not recommend this one. This is the Colourpop Luxe Glosses. I think that these are goopy. This actually fished up from my declutter pile. I think that these are goopy, and I don't think that these look and feel lovely on the lips. I think that they are a little bit too sticky and a little bit too goopy, and I think they have other gloss formulas that I think are better than this one. And I don't know why they keep pushing this new Luxe gloss formula on us, because I think that this is probably the worst gloss formula that they ever made. This is not my favorite. But something that is my favorite in the same kind of a packaging that I would 1,000,000% recommend is the Luxe Lip Oils. I think that these are so beautiful. This is my absolute favorite color. It is like a milky, warm peach. It is so beautiful on the lips. This one is called Hot Spark. Last time I checked, this was still on the site. I love this. It smells like honestly nothing. It smells like ingredients. I don't know if you can see, but mine is empty to here. Do you see that? I don't know when I have ever used as much of a lip product as I have used of this Hot Spark. Is it even called? Yeah, Hot Spark. Memory is good but short. This is incredible, and I have a bunch of these lip oils and I love all of them, but this one is my absolute favorite, and I really do recommend this formula. If you were wanting to try out this lip oil like trend that's going on, but you maybe want to try a more affordable option first. They also have ones with sparkles, and I think they have a clear one as well. I know with the Star Wars Mandalorian palette, they released a clear one with sparkles in it. I have that one, so there are definitely different options. This is a newer release as well. I have a couple here, I think. Yeah. I have been sent these in PR, and these are the new, I think they're called graphics liners, graphics ink liners. These are the ones where you like dip in. I think that these need a little bit more work. They're very inconsistent. Some of them are very opaque and easy to work with. Some of them are almost like goopy. It almost seems like they're about to like dry out. And then some of them are extremely sheer to the point that you're like, am I supposed to do like 3-4 layers? It's a little confusing. So I don't think that this is a really good one. I mean, I like the idea of it, but I actually like their felt tip liners more. And I actually brought out my specific favorite just to let you know, because if you are wanting to have a liner to do detailed work with, I really like this one. This one is in Graceland. I love this one. I've been using it so much. It really is so good at creating details, and you can really be, I feel like this is an opaque white liner, and even if you have to go in with 2 layers, it doesn't really look awful. It's easy to be somewhat precise with it. I've used this so much on my channel. If you search for Graceland on my channel, you will find so many videos where I've used this one. I think that this is really good, and if you are looking for a white liner, I really do recommend this. And I normally don't recommend the felt tip liner, but I actually think that this one, especially in the white, works really good at an affordable price. I brought this out as a package. This is the Colourpop for Target. It has nothing to do with this specific packet. I just happened to find this in the PR pile of stuff that I haven't used and I don't see myself using. These are the color sticks. These are basically like crayons with eyeshadow. I don't think that they were able to perfect this formula really, and I really would wish for them to just work on this a bit more. I think that if you are the kind of person that just like to put some shimmer on and dab it out and have a sheer layer and then be done with it, you might like these, but honestly, these crayons are not for me. They are not easy enough to work with to warrant the sheer result. I'm gonna need you to give me either full opacity or very interesting, like sparkly, wonderful topper formulas, or at least something that's really easy to work with. And I don't feel like these crayons were giving me any of that. So for me, they're not really a good standalone shadow because I want more than that. And they're also not a really good like base or like layering shadow because they're not really easy to work with. So for me, this formula was a no-go. Something that I really do like though, and this is, and I've said this so many times, my favorite formula in the whole wide world when it comes to all makeup products, and that is the Shimmery Super Shock formula from Colourpop for the cheeks. This is the one that I'm wearing today. I'm wearing chiffon, and this is what it looks like. It is like a warm, almost like, can you see, like an almost caramelly tawny nude, like yellowy shade that goes to this really nice, almost corally pink brightness. Can you see there's also a little pan there? I've used this a lot. I think that this is beautiful. I love this color, chiffon. It's available again on the site. I think they were just getting rid of this like limited edition packaging because now it's back in the white packaging. All of the Super Shock cheeks in the Shimmery formula are amazing. Highlighters, blushes, you name it. I have so many in my collection. I love them so much. I cannot recommend this formula enough. You can use them with a stiff brush on your cheeks, or you can like blend them out and dab it on with your fingers. It works beautifully. Under powder, on top of powder, without foundation, all of it. It's just a wonderful formula. I cannot recommend it enough. Like I said, this is my favorite makeup formula, all categories. Oh my god, do we need to talk about more blushes? Again, I have these here. This is from the collection, like the holiday collection that they did for Ulta, I think. Colourpop do come out with a lot of collections, which means that there's gonna be some hit or misses. But I had actually decluttered everything that I had in this formula from before. But then, can you come out? Hello? Sir? Sir? I'm gonna need you to make an appearance. Woo. These are the Cheek Dew Serum blushes, and I've had this from before in several different colors, and I've gotten rid of all of them. And now that they sent these new colors to me, I was like, no, I'm not giving that another chance. I think that this is a, well, they say dewy, but I think it is a sticky formula that stays sticky on your cheek. And if you're not careful, it's gonna lift everything on your cheeks right down to your bones. Like, it is gonna lift like your tan. Like, it is literally lifting everything, and it is so sticky, and like, they call it dewy, but I'm gonna go with cheek stickiness, and it's just too sheer to warrant all of that issue. It just looks a little bit like slightly colored Vaseline on my cheeks, and I was just not impressed. If you're looking for that super glossy cheek that's actually glossy, this might be for you. I am just not living this flypaper cheek life. We've talked about that before. Let's be a little bit more specific again, and let's talk about a blush that I have fallen head over heels for. And it is so random because this is from the High School Musical collection, and it's like, yeah, I know, it's very random. But this is the blush in Playoffs. And the amount of times that I've used this blush, I literally had it on my desk here in front of me for weeks. I had to put it into my collection and just be like, no. You cannot be using this in every video you're doing. You have to use something else. And it went by like 2 weeks, and then I was like, why don't I pull out that Playoffs again? And then I pulled it out again, and I've started using it. I just think that this is a sheer red wearable blush that is bright enough to be a red on your cheeks, but it's also sheer and warm and almost leaning a little bit on the bricky side, so it doesn't look too weird. And since it is sheer, I really think that a lot of skin tones will be able to pull this off. It is a beautiful blush, and I did not think that I was gonna love this the way that I love this, but yeah, if you are not into shimmery blushes and you want a matte blush, Playoffs. It's so good. Let's talk about another blush formula that I am not head over heels for. And again, I feel bad for like talking about a collab, but this is the collab with Snitchery, and it's nothing about like the specific colors that Snitchery chose. It is that I don't love these sticks, blushes and highlighters. I don't think that these are giving me enough of a beautiful result to warrant that I think that they're a little bit hard to work with. This is the blush in She Devil. I'm not 100% sure if these are the ones I used because there were more in the collection. Oh, this one I've used for sure, I can see. The color is beautiful, and there's fluff on here. I just don't think that these are not exactly what I'm looking for, and I don't know why, but every time I use them, I just end up being a little disappointed. I end up accidentally lifting my foundation. I don't million% love how they look on my skin, and I just haven't been head over heels for these cream products, which is a shame because like I understand that like Colourpop wants to get into the cream formulas like game because cream everything has been so big this year, but I think they're doing way better on the highlighter and bronzer spectrum than they are on this sticks thing. I don't think that this is their best work. Speaking of something that I really do love though, I really love the Super Shock bronzer that Colourpop came up with this year. I will say though, I don't know where mine is, and I was gonna pull it out for this video, and I started to think, I don't even think it was in my declutter. I don't know where it is because I've literally pulled out my entire collection for my declutter and then put it back in, and I don't remember seeing that anywhere, and now I'm like, where did it go? So when you see my bronzer, blush, and face palette declutter in the future, I'm gonna need you to comment, where is the Super Shock bronzer? Show us the bronzer. I don't know where it's at, but I can tell you that it's beautiful, and it's so beautiful that my first thought when I couldn't find it was, oh, I have to buy a new one. That's how good it is. That formula is beautiful. It is more creamy, like creamy than the Super Shock like cheek products. Otherwise, those are a little bit more like a gel to powder. They're a little bit more on the putty side. I would say the cream bronzers are a little bit more on the cream side, but they do dry down beautifully, and they're so easy to apply and so easy to blend, and they look wonderful on the skin, and I highly recommend that product. Something that I don't love as much and that I actually decluttered from my collection is the Pretty Fresh face powder. I used it a little bit and I was like, yeah, I can get on board with this. But the more I used it, the more I realized that it actually makes my makeup look a little bit cakey, and it makes it look a little bit, you know, on the obvious side. I mean, obviously, I want it to look like I wear makeup. Like, I'm not going for the natural look, like I woke up like this. We can all see that, you've got eyes. But I'm just saying that it made it look so cakey and obvious. It was like, I had my makeup on for 30 seconds and I feel like it made my makeup look like, you know, when you powder your makeup after a 12-hour work shift. I know how that looks. I felt like it made my makeup look like that, and I'm like, bitch, give me a break. I just applied you. You cannot make my makeup look like it's been through the ringer when it's all fresh, especially not when you're named Pretty Fresh. So I actually did get rid of that powder. I don't think that that powder was the best for me. I'm actually not going to be mentioning any of the foundations and concealers in this video, not because I hate them, not because I love them, but because I'm pretty indifferent to them. They're not horrible, but neither of them are my favorite. Let's be specific again, and let's talk about this one. This collection came with some unexpected gems, and this is the Just a Tint. It's also from the High School Musical collection, and this is in Cello. This is a sheer red lip tint, and it's more like a balm. It is like a balm on the lips. It's pretty sheer, but it is this beautiful cherry red, and it is just so pretty. They smell like passion fruit, and I have been wearing this so much. I just think it makes you look so fresh and so awake, and it looks beautiful with a dramatic eye look, and it looks beautiful with like nothing at all, just some brows and this. It's just pretty, and I really recommend you to try this out because a sheer red lip is just so pretty. And I was not really into the Just a Tint lip balm kind of a thing. It feels like a lip balm to me, but this color won me over. So with this one, I'm gonna be recommending this specific one because I think it's so lovely. Something that is not so lovely, it is the Party Proof Eye Primer. I don't know what they were thinking with this, because I think that this is so slippery, silicone-y. It doesn't really grip onto your eyeshadows. I just think that this is one of those like slip and slide for your eyeshadows. It does not make your eyeshadows pop at all. If you are like the kind like me, I wear eyeshadows so that I can pack them on and get the full like opacity dream. That's what I want. This isn't that. If your problem with eyeshadow is that you think it's hard to blend eyeshadow, this might be good because this is so slip and slidey that it will allow you to do really wide like windshield wiper motions. You know, that old guru thing that everybody was talking about that I don't recommend at all. This will allow you to do that even with big brushes because your eyeshadows will just be slip and sliding around. I don't like this one at all. I don't think that this is a good eye primer. It's not even good for the price. Something I do like, and something that I've been talking about so much on my channel, is the quads from Colourpop. I think the quads from Colourpop are wonderful. Not only are they small and compact like this, they have like a little snap closure. These are both from the astrology set, and those are no longer available, but they have other quads on the site, and I have a bunch of quads, probably like 8, 9, 10 different ones. I really like this formula. I think that these mattes are as good as the matte formula is ever going to be from Colourpop. I think they really did something with this and the matte. I truly really love them. I haven't tried all of them, so I'm sure there might be some out there that are not living up to these like high standards, but I will say I really like these quads, and I do think the shimmers are really good too. They're not like fully spectacular indie sparkle duochrome. They're not that, but they're really solid shimmer metallics and sometimes duochromes, and I really do like these quads. I think they're really good. Something I do not recommend is this, and now we're being specific, this palette that was released this year, and this is the Shell Shocked palette by Colourpop. This is very mediocre in pigmentation. It is very sheer, and I don't think anything here, it just looks pretty meh on the lids, and they all just blend into one and the same, and none of these are poppy enough to be something different on the eyes. If you like a very low maintenance, just something brown in the crease and a sparkle, not too offensive on the lids, you might like this. But honestly, Colourpop has done so much better than this palette. I just cannot recommend this. Something I can recommend, which is one of my favorite palettes from Colourpop. That is the Orchid Unite. It looks like this, and this is just the most amazing plummy berry dream. This is incredible quality. It's such good quality that I would literally tell you to get this one over a high-end formula with this color scheme. If you want to get plums and berries into your collection, specifically dark, yummy, like pigmented, blendable, buildable, amazing, like matte berries, this is the palette. I cannot recommend this enough. They really did a home run with this one. Used it so much, recommended it so much. It's definitely one of the best palettes on the Colourpop website. One palette that I've tried this year that I didn't like, but I know some other people like it, but that is the All Amethyst palette. I didn't like this one because mine is so hard pressed that some of these shadows are impossible to pick up with a brush. Like this one here. It's like a little faint here, but there's not even like powder on my fingers. There's like nothing. I just think that this one is lacking some pigment and punch, and I like the theory of this palette. Like the color story of this palette is really pretty, but on the eyes I wasn't super impressed. It felt a little weak. I know some people really love it, but the fact is that I've seen people live swatch this one, and when they live swatch theirs, it looks amazing. Mine does not. And that tells me that there is some discrepancy in producing these, and that also is a very big red flag for me, because it's like, if you cannot make all of these amazing, I can't recommend them, because that's... what is that? Another palette, I'm gonna go into a specific palette that I've tried this year that I thought was wonderful, that I have had so much fun using, is the In the Springs palette. I thought I'd recommend some palettes that are not like collab palettes, and they are not like IP, like collab palettes. This palette has a color story that I really like, which is blues and oranges. These go together so well, and these are just really good quality shadows, and I've had so much fun with this one. The only one in my palette that isn't an A+ is this one here that is called Intense. I would say that that one is more like a B+. It's definitely doable, you can definitely pick it up, but you can tell that it's a little bit more hard pressed than the other ones. But I have had so much fun with this palette, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that it wasn't more hyped than it is, but it could be because next week there was another palette. One palette that I've already decluttered from my collection, and I thought I'd just like speak about it here because it's still available on the site, is the, let me see what it's called so I don't tell you the wrong thing. It is the Stone Cold Fox. It's that big cool tone palette. I didn't like this one because I thought that this was not the great amazing Colourpop quality. I thought that some shadows were really good, some were pretty subpar, and I thought that some of the shades were just so similar. For me, this is just too big of a palette for where not all shadows are created equal, and honestly very few shadows, according to me, at least in the one that I had, were that really good Colourpop quality. I would say if you were looking for some good Colourpop palettes or cool tones, I would recommend that new palette that they released. What was that one called? Let me pull up a picture of how that one looks as well, just so you can see what it looks like. That is smaller. I like the quality of that one. I'm not the biggest fan of like grayish cool tones, but I didn't think that the Stone Cold Fox was amazing, but I've heard other people love it. But I'm just saying, for me, I thought it was a little bit so-so, and I decluttered it. Now I'm gonna talk about more of a wider array. Like, this is broader. This is bigger, and I'm gonna talk about Colourpop collab palettes. I am wearing this one today. Yes, I am wearing the Muppets palette today, and like I said, the look is live, and I will leave a link down below. Colourpop has done a lot of collabs this year, and I looked at Colourpop's site and I looked at all the collab palettes they've done, and I thought to myself, none of these are really a dud. And I think that that is important to remember, that I have tried a lot of the collab palettes that are on the Colourpop site, and none of them I thought was like, this is awful, or this isn't good, or I am gonna declutter this because of the quality. So if you found an IP or a collab palette over at Colourpop where you were like, I love Winnie the Pooh, I love Star Wars, I love Muppets, I love whatever collab they're doing, I can tell you that from the ones that I saw on the website available at the point that I'm filming this, I don't think that any of those are dud. So keep that in mind if you find something that is like a collab from Colourpop. It seems like they do tend to get the quality right on those. So if there were a collab that you were really wanting to have in your life, I would say, yeah, you can get it with good conscience. It's not just a collector's item, or it's not just merch. It's actually good makeup as well. At least the palettes. I haven't tried everything from every collection. Speaking of that though, I will give a little warning about one thing that I have tried that is a collab palette that isn't my favorite. And that was actually the palette that was with this collection, the High School Musical. That was the only palette. When I tried it, I was like, this isn't really my favorite. Not that it's awful. There was like 2 shades I think that was a little bit more hard pressed. It was a little hard to pick up. Not impossible. I kind of like the look that I did and the way that I've tried it afterwards as well. But it wasn't my favorite, and I also think the color story is a little generic. So I would say if you like High School Musical, I would say get any of these 2 instead. Not that the palette is awful, but spoiler alert, I did declutter it. It is not my favorite from Colourpop, and if you were dead serious about High School Musical, I would say get one of the other items instead, because the palette was not the best thing in the collection, according to me. I think I mentioned 11 in each category. Let me know if I am incorrect, but I feel like I mentioned that, or maybe I mentioned only 10. I have no idea. I have no idea. I will throw in like a bonus thing of something that I do remember, like recommend, but it's not from Colourpop, and that is the Soul Body Face and Body Bronzing Balm. This one is in medium. I'm just throwing it as bonus. I mean, you can buy it at the Colourpop site. It is still very affordable, but this is a really great cream bronzer if you wanted to get a bronzer in a tub like this. That is like a sheer but buildable, very blendable formula that's really easy to work with. So it's technically not Colourpop, but it's a Colourpop sister brand, and it is sold at the site. So I'll mention that one, and I think I have 11 of each. I might be incorrect. There might be 12 of, I don't know, but this is my favorites and my not so favorites from Colourpop. I hope this was helpful. I hope you were able to sift through some of Colourpop and just maybe know where to start if you were wanting to pick something up from the sale. Let me know your favorites down below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you again tomorrow for a new video. Bye!